forward.
Oh, we live.
We live.
And we live. What's up, man?
What up? What up?
How you doing?
Welcome to my ghetto first show on YouTube via Zoom.
Thank you for having me.
Quarantine, man. What's been up?
Oh, man, a lot of stuff. I mean, right now I'm in Red Box Studios with Sauce, man. We can turn it. My good man, Sauce.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So, he's my producer right now. Well, we working on a lot of stuff.
Sit down. What y'all working on? Can you reveal it?
Not yet. I mean, because honestly, we've actually found a bunch of classic records from years ago that I like left references for. So now we like finding this old stuff, and he like, bro, I'm about to redo everything, and you gonna redo everything too, and watch this.
Crazy.
So it's like I'll forget totally about the song altogether. But then once you start to hear it, like you remember the words and stuff, it's like, oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So
it's like meeting an old friend again.
Yeah. So it's like, so today is I guess like day one of that redoing all those classic records.
Okay. Right. Well, y'all heard it here first. We can't reveal what it is, but it's happening.
And we're also working on the project that's going to be coming out.
Okay, so we got something soon then.
Yeah, and the project is going to be called Muse. Features production from Madam CJ, production from Sauce. This is like one of the first project that I actually had people co-write with me on certain parts I wanted to do. Yeah, I've never, on my own personal stuff, I've never really been too pervy to have, assistance with, the songwriting process. Plus, growing up and learning through music, you come to find out that not everybody writes everything 100% themselves. So there's nothing wrong with having assistance if you get stuck. Now, if you just like, I like this beat, and you just send it to somebody like, now write it, that's the problem. If you got the gist of everything, but you just randomly hit writers, but you know how it goes when you're working on a record. And then it just leaves you like you're excited for like 5 hours.
Right.
And then like next day you work on it some more, next day. And then one day you just lose interest in it. And then you start something new and then you forget about it. But then when you return to it, you're like, oh, this just
go back. Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. You can't like recapture that feeling to finish those words, which sucks. So what I'll do is I actually had Sauce help me write some stuff a couple times. Like I was like I gotta make this make sense. What do you feel when you hear this? I always base my records off of making someone feel a certain type of way.
Oh, that's it. You sound like the frequency chemist.
That's why we work so well together, man.
Yeah, that's what it's about though. Trust me, I know it all too well. And every now and again, I'll go back and visit old songs that I felt like was just trash after hearing it 100 times. And then you kind of hear it again, but then you like can hear what can be added or what can be taken out.
Or you can even hear what you were going for. You like, I know
exactly
what you
it's like, that's what I wanted to do.
I got you, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, from that time, depending on how old it was, for my example, I'm listening to stuff from years ago. And so now me as a producer, I'm a totally different person than I was then. You go back, you hear it again, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what I was trying to do now to make it happen.
Right.
Welcome to Power Cut, my first guest. Thank you for believing in me.
Oh, no problem.
Like, you ain't be like, yo, I can't do that because you trash. No,
I wouldn't do anything.
This is the series where we cutting off the lights, even though we trying to get our lighting right, but we cutting off the lights to our lives, how we are when we present ourselves to the world as artists. And, or whoever you are in the business, if you're an artist, I don't care if you're a dentist, you're going to be on this show at some point in time. And we're going to talk about some stuff. We want to talk about everything that happens behind closed doors. As an artist, people come and see us on the stage or listen to the record, but they have no idea what brought you through that journey to that point that you have released that record or released that project or finally got that big break. That's what I want this show to be. I want it to be a conversation piece. I don't want it to be an interview to where I'm just asking you questions and you're answering. It's about the conversation. We catching a vibe on here. I got my red wine by Snoop Dogg.
Oh, okay, Snoop Dogg. Yo, yeah. I had bought some Pinot Noir today. And I thought I had it with me, but I lost it in the house. So because I put it in the bed, I was like, I must have left it in the car. I look in the car, I'm like, you know what? I'm already at the car. I got some Jack already, so
I'm gonna crack open a beer after
loose.
this. So.
And we got a little birthday cake. What's it called? Wedding cake.
Dang, how many years has it been?
Since when?
Since we met. We known each other for...
I would say about 10, 11 years.
That's about right. Philly?
Yeah.
Philly's where we are from.
Probably 11 years. Yep.
So it's been a minute. So that lets y'all know how far back we actually go. We got back in touch recently on some creative stuff. And so I was like, you know what? While we at it, why don't you come do my show?
No, why not? You know, I just upgraded my studio now. I run analog now. I don't run straight digital no more.
Oh, shoot. Y'all hear that?
Everyone's happy that I finally, converted over. I thought my digital signal was great, but everyone
like, no, you better run that analog.
Right. So I just finally did that, and I ain't gonna lie, it does make a difference.
I feel like that's a good starting point, knowing what you're good at, which is a conversation we had before.
So for knowing what you're good at, it's a easy and hard thing at the same time. Because it takes you to know what you are good at, you got to learn yourself. Mm-hmm. How are you going to provide something for something that you don't know anything about? And you'll be amazed at how many people really don't know anything about themselves. Why not take that time to learn yourself, find out what makes you happy, and then do more of what makes you happy. And then eventually you'll find out what you're really good at, because it's going to make you happy. And it is really, truly learning yourself. And you don't have to lock yourself in a room by yourself for 6 months or a year trying to say, I want to learn myself being by myself. You don't want to do that.
Right.
Which live life. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And end up in those types of situations where you may have to tell somebody no. Put yourself in predicaments where you have to rely on yourself, even if you are with a bunch of people. Because then you know that you're rocking with yourself. Also, that way you can learn yourself. People always push this narrative that you should be by yourself to necessarily learn yourself, unless you are in a real volatile state where you may cause damage to other people. If it's something like that, whereas and you may possibly put your health or someone else's health at risk, then by all means do it by yourself until you figure that out. And then you go back out into the world of people and then begin to learn yourself further. And on top of that, the things you like are going to change. So it doesn't matter. Like, when you was a kid, I'm quite sure you ate some type of candy and was like, what did I see in this? And be like, how did I really enjoy playing this old video game? Like, you know what I'm saying? Your taste and things like that are always going to change with your maturity. So you should always stay in tune with yourself and learn yourself as you grow. You will always be effective, and you will become actually a very valuable asset to people.
The key word of what you said is going through things. My backstory when it came to moving to California, moving out to Southern California in 2012, the one thing that I noticed that set me apart from a lot of people who moved to LA is I had zero people out there. A lot of people like, I moved by myself, but they have like family somewhere. They may have to drive a couple hours to get to them or something, but they got family somewhere on the coast, and they can get there, or they started out there and went off on their own. And it was a cushion there. I had zero.
I count as what you did is so brave, because I'm the type that, like, I gotta know where I'm going. I gotta know how I'm getting around. I gotta know. I don't like to depend on anybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Which is something that I gotta slowly grow out of that. And if I do put myself in a position for me to depend on you, and you don't come through, I would never depend on you ever again.
It was a big step moving to a different side of the country. There was a point in time, when I first moved, after 6 months, I decided to come back home for a few months, which I didn't even tell nobody, because as soon as I got home, I was like, why am I here? I turned around, I went back. After I went back, that's where I spent the next 6 years consistently. I would come home on the holidays, but that was it. And I went through so much. The key factor is I went out there by myself with a goal, and I built my own family out there. I've not only built a friendship base and a family base out there, I've built a network, because I have, like you guys always pipe me up like, let's go K-Star, back when I was K-Star.
Man, you was in the trenches with it from the beginning. Like, you remember, we was doing unspeakable music at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't shoot nobody in this shit, bro. Like, and we was in them open mics, like me, Live, CJ, as you guys would call her. So it's crazy, because a lot of people who are like buzzing in Philly from that era, we all were in the same places. And it's beautiful seeing like players in the game, even if you aren't as active in the game as you want to be. It's cool to always watch the players move on the board. Every move that you make here has to be strategic.
California is no different. I've had people come to me like, yo, know, what should I do when I get out there? It was a vibration for me. This could work. This is me. I can, for the ups and downs, I'm willing to go through it out here. But I tell people all the time, I can sit here and tell you how dope it was for me and my journey, but it doesn't mean it's your journey.
Exactly.
You might need to move to Atlanta. Atlanta might be your spot. New York might be your spot. Chicago might be another. You know what I mean? You don't know. You have to get out there and you gotta
feel it. For me, it's only 2 places. Now, I've been all across America. I've been abroad as well. The 2 places that really stuck out to me is San Diego and Stone Mountain, Georgia. Philadelphia has a special speed to it. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's just right. It got just enough craziness, just enough creativity. Yeah. Now, everything's a fine line. So watch where you are. And it's like, find your purpose, man. Once you find your purpose, you're good to go.
Music has been my whole life.
You're right.
Okay, I am a singer. I'm a writer. Shoot, I used to rap back in the day. I'm talking about freestyle battles and everything. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, that's a secret part of my life.
Yeah, the college code. So, so sad on your next show, he won't battle you. That's what I mean. Right? Like, you basically like, I'm bowing out of this. I'm bowing out.
Focus on my singing. Focus on the writing. But I always said I don't care to be a producer. However, long story short, I had to figure things out for myself. I had to start dabbling in the music that I kept hearing in my head to create these songs that I want to write and that I want to sing. It started off real trash. That's and then
everybody starts off ass. Like, it's super rare.
Everybody starts off trash. Nobody is going to pick up, nobody's going to touch an instrument or a piece of equipment, be good at the very first time. You're going to pick at it and figure it out for yourself. After going to Musicians Institute in Hollywood and brushing back up on my keyboardist skills, taking Pro Tool classes, in which I am user certified now.
So you got
I started working, and which I like Logic. Logic is my go-to though when I create. I started doing the music and I started meeting a lot of people, and they were like, why don't you produce? You should make this a part of your thing because you're not bad at it. Like, you're good at it. And I'm like, really? For real? From that, I started finding my identity in what I really wanted to do growing in the music business, which eventually became my name, The Frequency Chemist, because it's more than just music with me. It's about sound and healing and mental health awareness. It just gets bigger for me. Like, I have this never ending list of goals when it comes to that type of thing. So I will say, yes, I am a producer. I am a recording engineer. It's also a development thing. It's taking that time, again, to be with yourself, to go through things and to learn things about yourself that you didn't know. I didn't always know that I was interested in music therapy or musical or vibrational therapy, which turned out to be a big part of my brand, The Frequency Chemist. 2 kids later, I'm a mom. My son loves to produce. He's 13. My baby girl, you sing ABCs, she'll sing them back. She won't sing the actual letters, but she got the melody together. I got musical kids, and they look to me. My son's always like, Mom, we're gonna record my song, but I love it. Get on Logic, or when I get on Pro Tools, he's right on my shoulder watching me, and that's fine with me.
I would just have him run your sessions.
Listen, what you think I'm letting him watch me for? Hey, you don't get the final and push record. Let's go.
That's what I would do. I mean, it's beautiful though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a beautiful thing because your child shows interest in it. You then can just pour out what you have. Your beginning is my end. So when you start, you're not starting from where I started, having to pay for studio time, having to race under the gun to record, having to decide if I'm going to eat or am I going to record tonight. You're not going to have these problems that plagued me when I first started. I'm also going to put you hip on how to spot the BS, because I don't want you falling for paying people to give you a service that is not what they expressed it would be. If one of my youngsters ever decided they want to go into music, which means that I will always be upgrading you. I will always dump into you what I find new, and then I want you to come and bring me back stuff as well.
And because the industry changes, so at some point you got to come to mom and let mom know, Mom, that ain't it no more.
I'm not one of those parents that'll be like, you're going to do this. Like, no, because
no,
my kid, I don't believe in that. They might just be like, look, my youngster, like my daughter, she's an engineer. She loves building. When I noticed that, I called the mother and I said, hey, I think we should find something for her to go into. She's 10. you water that seed, but as a parent, you got to be attentive to your kids. That way you can see what they like, what they don't like. Also, establish that rapport with your child and that respect with your child that they will listen to you. When it's like, yo, listen, man, I know you because you just like me. I know you are your own person too. Do you think that this truly works for you and who you are? Always drill your child to think for themselves. Don't think for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They smart. My cousin Live, he would always say, what you do in practice, you do in the game.
I want to go into what is the first step. How he's able to start now, he can just come down into the basement. I can set up everything with a laptop, and he can actually record a project, record a song, and send it to get mixed. Versus when I was his age, he used to be going through the yellow pages.
Damn.
Find the studios, okay?
Right. Oh man, that's crazy.
Literally, we were like 14 years old, going through the yellow pages, finding recording studios. We had a studio shoebox that we put all our money together in to go to the studio.
And that is beautiful.
No, we had the internet, but it was early internet. You know, you couldn't be on the phone while you.
That's before Google. Google the play in the game. It was AOL was big though.
I was on there on AOL.
That's what I said.
Look it up.
That's dope.
Like
that's how that was our first. They would give you a mailing address. You had to cut your demo. You had to have a picture of yourself, and you had to have a bio in that.
The demo. Listen, 2 keyboards, and we record on the karaoke machine with the tape while I'm either playing the keyboard or we did it a cappella. Right. What was it? Microsoft Word. You got the old colorful word art.
Yeah.
Like
Microsoft Word. You could drop your pictures behind it, and you could change the color of the font and make it like it was like a magazine back then.
That was a random memory, but that was my first step. You know, that was the first time that I can say I remember actually taking anything of my career into my own hands and taking it seriously. Calling record labels and
I was
and then we can send a demo and getting the address and everything.
The first step is always the hardest step. That's number one. It's always the hardest
one.
The law of inertia, an object at rest wants to stay at rest. And the object in motion wants to stay in motion. So if you're at rest,
say that again. Say that again for the people in the back.
An object at rest wants to stay at rest. And the object in motion wants to stay in motion. So at the end of the day, if you are the object at rest, you require more force, what people call torque. You require more force to get you moving versus when you already moving and somebody just hop in like, hey, so think about the shopping cart. When you got a shopping cart full of stuff and you try to keep up with your mom and she like, boy, come on, or kid, come on. You know what I'm saying? That first push, you're like, you know what I'm saying? But then when that shopping cart is moving, you don't want it to stop, right? Why? Because it's easier to move. So just apply that to yourself. So the first step is always the hardest step because you don't know and you have been at rest before you move forward. It wasn't really a first step. I was just happy to be with my older brother in the studio. You know what I'm saying? So my older brother took me in there. You know, big and young boy, like just happy to see my brother. He's a rapper, man. He's big time. You know how it is. You're a kid. You know what I'm saying? You got the big board and everything. You're like, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Just like in candy and like, what?
Right. And don't know what none of this stuff mean nor do. Right. I know my brother's the one, right? 2 minutes left in the session. And they was like, yo, he was like, you got 2 minutes left to my brother. My brother was like, you want to get in the studio? You want to get in the booth? And I was like, yeah. You know, I'm just trying to keep up. I'm trying to read this paper for the first time. So he was like, listen, I don't care. Just rap. If you mess up, keep going. And then I get in the booth and I go for it. Right. And so that was me tagging along. You know what I mean? That was like my first introduction. But the first step was playing that song for everybody back at home. The most nerve-wracking thing ever, you know, playing your record, you know, because you're self-conscious a lot. You will get the response that you kind of won't be expecting. Everybody may even be making fun of you, but guess what? They're singing the record, which means if you make another one, they'll sing that one too. And then it grows like wildfire because everybody gonna be like, what you singing? And then they might gonna sing it. And then they gonna make fun of you too. Or they gonna be like, for real, bro, I like that joint. And hate there is love. And making fun of someone, it's showing that they care. Paying for my own studio time, like you went through. He was like, you really want to do this? I was like, yeah. So I was working for my other brother, making a little money. So he was like, yo, this is how much an hour costs. I'm gonna match your hours. However many hours you buy, I'll match you. I'm like 14 now. Like, you know, no, was I 14?
Right.
Yeah, I was like 13, 14. You know what I'm saying? So my brother was like, the reason why I'm making you pay for this now is so that way you respect it more. Because it's different when you paying going in there and you're not coming out.
It's respectable,
right. You know, and you don't come out with a product that you're happy with.
Right.
So you just spent this money and you didn't get what you spent your money on.
Yeah.
But guess who made it so you couldn't get what you spent your money on?
Absolutely.
So it's up to you.
You can't point your finger at nobody but yourself.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's all on you.
Right.
The next first step was changing the genre. I was going through a bad depression at the time. And I wanted to just do something that made me happy. And funny thing is I had actually quit making music. And I just wanted to be happy again.
Been there.
And then my brother was like binging VH1 at this point in time. So he started to begin to make those rock sounding beats. I came up with Addiction. And then a couple days later, Live had came over. And I was like, bro, this is what I'm thinking. And I just said, only thing I had was she see me on the radio, said she my addiction, that stuff, right? And he was like, bro, this is what I've been talking about. I've been looking for this. I went into making that just on I'm making it for myself. Nobody else even has to hear it. I don't care. This is for me. This is my own personal stash of music. I just happened to let my cousin hear it. And then
it just so happened to be the thing. That thing.
And then it was like,
this is it.
The next thing you know, the birth of 787, and then I met you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
right. One of the reasons why I admire you guys so much was I met you guys at a time that I was going through my experimenting with sound. I wanted to do rock and roll. I love mixing things, but at the time I was like, I'm in this rock kick. I want to do rock music. You remember those photos? I had the blue hair on the train tracks.
I remember them Jones. I was like, them Jones hard.
That was me really just experimenting and finding myself. You go to release a record, or you release something, you got to give it a genre or something, you know. Quite honestly, I really don't like giving my sound a genre. Everything for me is feeling. That's what makes me develop whatever it is I'm creating at the time. I may be in a mood for Philly soul, love songs, and then another day I might want to do some EDM. My favorite genre is the blues. In which I actually, me not being able to play guitar, I ended up playing for a blues band in Cali.
That's dope.
To give my first step story, I had just had my son. Now, when I was 16, I don't know if you ever heard of Philly Native.
Yeah, I remember Philly Native.
Yeah, I modeled for him when I was like 15, 16. He did a runway show. That Dave and Buster's on the water. I don't even know if it's still there. I guess you go further back. I did a singing competition. That's when he approached me like, how would you like to model for my clothing company? I'm like, well, I never thought of myself as a model. I'm not 6 foot in a size 2. So but he was like, no, that's fine, you know. So he coordinated with my mom. I ended up doing the runway show, fast forward. But he would always send these mass emails out consistently. This opportunity is here and this opportunity is here to all his models. So fast forward, I'm in school, I get this email of an opportunity for a audition as a model for a company called Next Level Entertainment. Again, I'm like, I just had a baby. You know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And that's literally, I said, you know what? No excuses. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
In that first
step, literally, I said that to myself, and I went.
Step, you gotta overcome all that shit.
You gotta overcome it. And I took that first step, and I can charge that one moment to me saying, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, to everything that I'm doing, and to every single person and executive and celebrity or whomever that I have met to this day. I can charge it to that one moment, and jumping in and doing it, that I started meeting people, and then meeting people, and it became a chain reaction, up to the point of me meeting someone who started really getting my gears turning about moving to California. And then I moved to California. And if I can really say my true first step when it came to taking myself fully seriously, meaning this is what I want to do, this is who I am, it was right there. You know, as an adult, I had to take charge of myself. That was my first step moment.
And like, I be trying to tell people, man, that fuck it is strong. When you say fuck it, that opens up
very strong.
So much for you. Like, that fuck it mean that you accept it. If this shit don't work, I don't care. They do that fuck it and don't know that they've done that fuck it. Hence standing, let's just say someone's in a fucked up relationship, but they love that person that much. Guess what they say? When it comes up to that time of really leaving them, what do they say? Fuck it.
Fuck it. And that means you accept the process of pain that you have to go through.
Or you accept, so either way, you've accepted the end result.
Because that's your sacrifice. And sacrifices are essential to any business, any industry. You're going to sacrifice something, whether it's your time, whether it's your money.
You can't teach somebody something that you don't know.
While we talking about stuff like that, because the next part is really pros and cons. And we've talked about our highs, we've talked about our lows. The pros and cons really on the business aspect of the industry, you being a man in the industry and me being a woman in the industry, a lot of who I've become as a producer, as an artist and everything, and me always being such the loner that I am and going about and being forced to have to learn the things that normally a manager or another business person would do for me. I've been having to do that on my own. I'm not like other artists. And granted, I used to be pretty stingy with my music. For the most part, I've always been open enough. Collaborate with me, you know, sharpen me up, you know, give me the constructive criticism that I need. But there was always either ego involved or personal feelings involved with me as a woman in the music industry. That it's very real. It is what it is. And that's really the cons of being in, and honestly in any business, being a woman in that business. And I'm not going to go down the road of, oh man, it's like this. Because one thing I learned, I went through the phase of complaining and I just learned to stop complaining. That ain't getting the job done. It's one of those things of what you want to do.
Sosa is okay if he chimes in. All right, so you want to say something? In the time being, you got to know your strategy. Develop your strategy before you start playing.
All right, as far as women in the industry, right? It's only one difference between women and men in the industry. So it's a male-driven industry, right? So when women are coming in, it's gonna be dudes who's gonna be like, I'm trying to fuck. We can talk like adults. They're gonna be trying to have sex with them. Yes. They're gonna lead them on into whatever it is, but their only intention is to have sex with them. The only difference for a man in the industry is you gotta pay.
You gonna pay. You gonna pay.
That's the only difference, is you gonna pay cash money for the same thing as you was gonna get for just, you know, being cute and some dude trying to fuck you. It's not fair. They're not going to take you serious, but they don't take nobody serious. You walk in there with the best music in the world. If you're not family or somebody didn't introduce you to them, they're going to look at you the same way. It's like, can I get a check out of them? And if not, if you can't get no check out of you, they're not dealing with you.
And like you saying, it's the same issue, because I've been in a position to where I'm like, you know what? I think you're dope. We catching a vibe. I don't mind kicking it with you. But when we in the studio, let's focus. We in this business, let's get it done. And then when we leave and we outside the business, then we can focus on this. And oh, that ego, I'm like, what is it that you're searching
it's like
for?
It's two things. It's indulging. So somebody who's never had power, they will overindulge. So the time we spent outside being cool and all this stuff, he spent in the house being a nerd. There's nothing wrong with this, because we need everybody to make this world go around. Now you have somebody with a position of power who never had it. And now they flex. They don't feel for the janitor. They don't feel for the woman. They don't feel for the man. Only thing they can remember is, I never had this. I wanted this all my life, and now I got it, and watched this. You see what I'm saying? That's somebody who never had it.
There's women who are like, to this day, lost themselves and lost who they wanted to be, and started to hate music just off of the strength that it is that way. But for me, I just realized that, you know what? Okay, I got to do it on my own. I have to be my own management, or either that or surround myself, you know, because I'm not going to say that it's been 100% that way. I have met some genuine people, men and women, in the industry. But a lot of what got me there was me taking these situations and beginning to build for myself. Thus, me becoming a producer. You know, and you deal with it so many times. What I'm going to do? Complain? No, I figured out how to learn to make my own music. So I ain't got to go to you. You know, I don't want to have to just do it all myself. You know, I love to collaborate, but if I have to do it, if I have to make my sound, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'm able to do it. And I was able to find myself within that and move forward. Because when it's something that you truly love and it's who you are, you can't stop. I've tried to quit music so many times. It's a marriage that won't.
I think I've quit music probably twice.
Writer's block is that's something else. You don't even necessarily quit music. It hasn't come to you in a long time.
And usually, you know what that I usually do to get it. That mean that for me personally, usually that mean I've spent too much time in this genre. It's time to leave. It's time to go do something.
You want to try something new, right?
And then once you play that beat, all your ideas come rushing back. And you're like, this is exactly what I need. Whenever I'm like, yep, I'm oversaturated, need to make this no more, right? I go to flip it. My head come my friends. Bro, what are you doing? This song is great. Bro, you gotta stop that. And it's like, bro,
I hear that
more
so many times. And I'm like,
bro,
you know, we our own worst critic.
Yeah.
It's hard. You've been the only one listening. Morphine, the single that I have out on Apple Music and all other platforms, shameless plug.
Hey, make sure you out and go listen to Say It Again, K. Morphine.
All platforms.
On all platforms.
Whatever you got, go
stream
get
that
it.
shit,
Apple
add
Music,
it to your playlist.
Spotify, Tidal. It's on TikTok.
And you know what's so funny?
Y'all TikTokers out there.
You always
go
make
TikTok
a
to the song
that is like something like mine. Like I have a record called Morphine. I should send it to you.
Yes, I want to hear it.
This is like Morphine's a song of mine that's a song I will never let die, but one day I'll let it come out. I love that, right?
My past birthday, which is Juneteenth, the Day of Freedom, I've started setting goals for myself. In 2018, I released The Frequency Chemist officially, the website, and my mixtape, The Experiment. 2019, I started a radio show for called High FM, which is stopped, but I'm gonna relaunch it. 2020, I released my single. Before I did that, I had a good talk with a good friend of mine, Brian Kennedy, who is an amazing producer who has been releasing record after record every month. I told him, I was like, I admire how you're just releasing these projects to just create this masterpiece you're working on. He was telling me about how he had set aside that mindset or that fear that keeps you stuck from releasing, understanding that you are developed. You don't know what's going to happen, but just do it.
I did a workshop at Rap, which actually helped me to this day of getting over that. What that is when you're chasing perfection. The truth is perfection is objective, because you ever create a record and then you go back the next day to hear it again and it sounds terrible. And what's happening? You're chasing perfection. You chase to put the record out. That's what you don't focus on making it perfect, because you'll never attain it. And the next thing you know, a year that went by and you're still sitting on these same 6 songs talking about this is it. We can always get in our own way. I haven't had a project drop in 3 years. Why? For multiple reasons, but chasing perfection was definitely one of them. We all were fucked up in a way. I skip past all the bullshit. I pay you. What do you want? And I hate the question, what's your budget? Because I will probably tell you $1.
I hate that question too.
I will tell you $1. You know what they're going to say? Oh, we can't do no work. So if I message you, and this is how I used to message people back then, like, well, I mean, let's work together. I have a crazy idea for production. I just don't know how to make beats.
That's why I started using the word collaboration.
Don't ask me what's your budget, because I will definitely tell you $2. 9 times out of 10, I'm coming to you like, how much do you cost? Because whatever the fuck my budget is or not, if I can't afford you, I'll say I'll talk to you later. Right. If I really still want to work with you when I got the money to afford you, let me know. That way I know what to come at you with. You know what I mean? If you want to add that in the cons, I just started saying, F it all. I'll just surf on YouTube, pay for the wave, pay for the ability to release this record, and I'm good with that. I ain't got to deal with nothing. They send over their agreement sheets, and you can give them their percentage, not just on the streaming site.
Split sheets, people, split sheets.
See, people don't know about these things, like, you know what I'm saying? And you can establish.
One thing that I learned when you understand contract, most people can't afford a lawyer. It's fine. Learn. There are internet people. It's here now. It's here now. It's 2020. We got the internet. You got sample contract. I have like a couple versions of this business of music, and I realized I had to really learn this for myself. You get samples and you look at them and you read them 10 times, read them 20 times. I don't care. Learn it. Learn the hard stuff, learn the easy stuff, and you'll realize that the knowledge of having it is free. When you approach somebody and you say, all right, let's get these split sheets going, let's get this agreement going, solidify the start of this collaboration, and they run away from it, it's bullshit.
NDA,
don't do it.
I've never been on the NDA level, so I mean,
I've been on the NDA level.
I've never been on the NDA level.
But listen, I'm not even going to sit there and pipe myself up. I signed the NDA just because I was in the studio.
See that?
For a particular situation. I had to sign the
never.
NDA just for being there. So you got to understand that stuff. I mean, I don't got no problem. I keep my mouth shut. Right. I've done TV stuff before. I signed plenty of it. You work on TV, you read that NDA. The first thing they say is, you do any ounce of talking, you gonna owe like $100,000.
Yeah, you
just for spilling the beans.
Right. You disagree with that if you want to.
Right.
Hollywood and you and Cali, so you know they write. We got lawyers set up just for NDAs, bro. What are you talking about? Right. Here you go. Here's your bill. I will see you after you have filed bankruptcy 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Like loose lip sync ships. Just shut up. You know what I mean?
You better go on and shut up. And I've met people like that too, where as soon as you start talking any type of, I mean, it could be something simple. NDAs really are simple. It's really just a keep it quiet until the project comes out.
They just guarantee.
People will run away from that. And if anybody's running away from simple paperwork or paperwork in general, watch them, because they have to stop.
Depending on the paperwork.
No, I'm not saying what's in the paperwork. It's different if you read the paperwork and say you flagged because this is bullshit. Right. That's different. But if you, I'm talking about the mere mention of, hey, I'm gonna send some paperwork, some contracts to you.
Right.
And that person start getting all funny.
Yeah, nah, that's bad business. Because that mean they business ain't together, which is only
they business ain't together.
You know what I'm saying?
And you trying to secure and lock your side in.
Right.
Again, I use the word collaboration, which means there's going to be a lot of paperwork involved that's pretty much going to say, hey, we're going to split it accordingly and fair. When that money start coming in from what we produce, we all making, we all to the top. You know what I mean? And that's the position that I'm in, that you know, when I'm around the people that I'm around, let's get this collaboration together and let's go hard so that we can make that money together. Let's go.
I'm definitely out there. I'm definitely gonna slide out on you. I'm gonna be like, where we going today?
California has been my home for 7 years now. I am the kind of person that's like, you cannot come out here and ask me where to go, because I'm gonna say just go. What's exciting to you is no longer exciting to me.
You're gonna wake up, I'm gonna be over it.
Like, where we going today? I'm like, if you'll take your ass, go, because today is a sleep day. All right.
And I'm back, and I'm sliding right up.
But you gotta give me like 3 days.
Oh no, extended stay. You get 2 weeks. You be good. You good. You get a smooth 2 weeks. I'm on a randomly planned California. The only thing I need to know is small variables. Where we at, how far, how long, and I just need to know how much.
So you got the right mindset.
Look, I want to tell you this. I'm proud of you for you taking your first step with this show, which I know it kind of probably was hard. You know what I mean? You had to think about it, probably like who's gonna watch it.
Listen, this quarantine thinking is something else.
All I know is this. If you apply the blind gang method, think back. If you remember blind, you remember it. So, well, you apply the blind gang method, which is if you build it, they will come.
They will come. But see, let me tell you something about blind gang that I admired though. Yeah. Everybody did something.
Yeah.
You had the music producers, you had writers, you had photographers and graphic artists. Like, even though it was a tight-knit group of people, everybody was able to do something. Like right now, my best friend is my acting manager. She's a great businesswoman. She does it everything. Candace, that is my heart, that is my sister. And she don't want nothing to do with the music industry, but for me, because she's like, let's get this ball rolling. I will be your manager until we can get you a manager. Honestly, I hate having to deal with that and trying to create. Just let me create. Let me just do this. And then, you know, I got management handling everything else.
They're doing it out the kindness of their chest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what they're good at. And they want to lend their gift to you. That's how you got to look at these things.
That's like, everything. That's how you build your circle.
I remember I used to work at Cinnabon when I was a young boy. And my manager there, he said one thing to me that stuck with me for the rest of my life. And what he said was, we don't do warm bodies. I don't need 2 people doing one job. Everybody do what you do. Find the spot, fill it. The warm body, you just there. You just alive for no reason. You sitting there.
Right.
So we apply the same thing to blind gang. If you ever remember, nobody in blind gang, in terms of the actual group, no one did the same thing. Even if they did, their gifts did overlap. They still had something else that they brought to the table. And that is how blind gang really moved.
And that's how you grow your squad, people. And that's where I started doing production. It may not be me as an artist that take off first. It might be something I produce. And then I can do something for myself. Expand yourself. If you're good at it, do it. It's no reason not to do it. It's no reason not to try it.
One thing you want to always carry yourself as is doing good business, and you a stand-up dude. And granted, even if somebody do you wrong and you did right by them, don't change your tactics.
You're going to have bad apples in this industry. You're going to have good apples in this industry. But you focus on who you are, where you're going, and what you're trying to do.
That's a life period, not even just music. I mean, this is a life hack for everybody. Start as young as you can with learning discernment. Discernment is what you need, because you have to know when and when not to. And you have to develop yourself spiritually and morally. Establish your moral rules that you will not break, and live by these moral rules. And I'm quite sure that everybody who has experienced life has broken their own moral rules and found out exactly why you made that moral rule years ago. Because there's going to be times when you cannot lean on your own understanding because you just don't know. You've never been here. You don't know. So you have to lean on something bigger than yourself, whatever your faith system is.
At the end of the day, yeah, you're going to have the people around you, but first and foremost, you have yourself.
You got yourself.
And everybody is going where it starts and that's where it's going to end.
One of the things I had to make peace with when I was younger was your friends will leave you. How I grew up, it was friends over everything. You probably going to lose your friends. Like, I used to have friends.
I teach my son that all the time because I've never had the same friends.
Right. Your friends are forever going to change, and it's not a bad thing. And don't ever think you're being disloyal. Right. Don't think nothing like that. It's just that everything comes to it. Everything has a beginning. Everything has an ending. Everything has a birth. Everything has a death. A love changes. A thug changes. And best friends become strangers. That's what Nas said, and I kept that to and I was like, yo, and I remember that, and I first heard that when I was in high school. But what did your folks tell you? You ain't even gonna be friends with them when you graduate. And what you think to yourself? Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Till you go off to college, and you got a whole set.
Then life says, all right, I'm going to grab you, and I'm going to grab you, and y'all here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you get the estranged conversations. I mean, you know, when you talk every year or once every few years. You know what I'm saying? Life just pulled you two apart. That's all. You know?
And that's just, it happens.
And there's nothing, and at the same time, there's nothing wrong with this.
Absolutely.
And this does not mean that you move prematurely and indirectly and start cutting friends off. It's not what I'm telling you.
Right.
It will just start to just fade away. You two would just grow more distant, and things like that may happen. Like Ross said, instead of beefing with your dog, just give him some distance.
Y'all done got a lot of information out of us tonight, Hunter.
Sure did.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna bring you back for like a part 2. We definitely gonna bring KIDD SWEENEY back. So we're gonna wrap up for our first segment, our first show of Power Cut. Anything you want to say to the people?
Keep your mind young. Never stop learning. The moment you do that is the moment you die. And live your life to the fullest, because a lot of the stuff that we spoke on today is very transferable to other places in life, not just in music. So, I mean, chase your dreams and whatever it be. And don't let nobody tell you that your dreams are shit. You know what I'm saying?
Ever.
Like if you want to grow up and be a fucking cable man, you grow up and be that fucking cable man.
I literally met a guy that was like, I always dreamed of being a postman. He worked at the post office.
Yeah, like that's beautiful. Like that's the type of that is somebody who discovered what they wanted and chased their dreams. And I bet you the best fucking postman they got. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's not working
all day and just happy.
Yeah, I mean
happiness is key. You know, your ashe, your happiness, your everything of who you are. Stick in that, find yourself, and stay true to that from point A to point B. Because it starts with you, it's going to end with you.
And again, thank you, and can't wait till the next episode.
Thank you for believing in my show, my first little episode.
Hey, thank you for believing in me. I mean, listen, you know some real players, man. You know what I mean? So you could have, and this is over video. Like you could have definitely just set this up with somebody on the West and just been like, I'm on it. Like, you know what I mean? So I want to say thank you.
And the realness, because we had a conversation before, and I'm like, you would be perfect to kick this off and help me flow into it. You know what I mean? So thank you for saying yes.
Again, like I said, I can't wait for part 2. Also, music will be coming out within a month and a half. So once I'm done with you, I'm going to lock back in here with Sos, and then
give them your stuff, IG, your Twitters,
everything whatever. Is KIDD SWEENEY, so you can stream music.
That's KIDD with 2 D's.
KIDD SWEENEY. You could just Google that and everything comes up.
Yeah.
You can go to YouTube. You can go to Instagram.
It will be in the linked in the look. I'm a YouTuber. It's linked in the description. Subscribe.
And be like, wait. If my joint be like, if you click here.
I don't even know what to point. I ain't there yet.
If you click here or here, you can see the videos. Again, Spotify, whatever service that you use to stream is all on there.
So everything will be linked. Everything need to know.
Linked. I just listen. I just keep quiet. I don't talk.
NDAs.
NDA. You know what? I'm about to find my own NDA. I'm gonna have you sign it and Sos just to say I've done it. Like, you know what it's like.
Yes.
But no, that's cool though, man. I'm excited. I'm happy. Can't wait. I'm proud of you. And I'm glad that, you know, we still have our friendship for many years. And remember there was a point in time we ain't talked for probably 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And And truthfully, I watched from afar, and I just watched you flourish. You know what I'm saying? And again, I was always proud of you seeing your IGs and you really being out there and doing it. I've always been proud of you, and I'll forever be proud.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for tuning in. That is it for our first episode of Power Cut.
Cut, nigga.